My grandfather was too young to go to World War II. So when he was 16, he went to a trade school down in Philadelphia called Williamson and learned a trade to work on the railroad. And one of his jobs that he did then to supplement his income was he sold work boots in his spare time. So that's one of the customers, ended up being what was Rep Logo Motors then, which is now Stuckey Ford. So he sold them work boots, was his kind of part-time evening job. Grandpa was really good with numbers. He had a real strong accounting background. And when their office manager went on maternity leave, they asked him to fill in. And like the story goes that he never left, right? So, and they were officially incorporated in 1959, so 60 years ago here, April 1st.
Yeah, it was just real different. You know, he managed the what was then Rep Logo Motors for the owner, who was actually Fred Beasley, which is a name that people of our generation would remember. You know, they had the Altoona Ford dealership. But, so he was managing it, and we lived just cat-a-corner behind the dealership. And, I mean, he was on all the time. He used to say he couldn't even cut the grass. You know, the customer would come back and ask him, what do you want for this, or whatever. But we actually had, if you remember the old rotary dial phones, and they had buttons along the bottom, we actually had one of those phones in our house. Yeah, so, you know, if nobody was answering the phone over there or whatever, push the button and Stuckey Ford. Yeah.
First thing he did every morning was to go out and say hi to all the employees. Every morning he greeted them. And it was fun to go along with them too. I liked that.
You know, and it's really interesting because, you know, Matt and my dad and I, you kind of, there's not a lot of people that do what we do, you know, running a car dealership, and there's a lot that goes with it. And when I would talk with my dad sometimes when I was doing what he was doing after I took over and bought our partner out, he would tell me about in the mornings how he could hardly get his Wheaties down sometimes because he wasn't sure if he could sell enough old used cars to cover payroll. You don't have enough cash to pay the employees. You know, and you know, you think about that, you know, when you think things maybe aren't going quite as good for you as you think they should, and you think, well, I don't have that problem. You know, I don't have to worry about liquidating, you know, these old cars so I can pay people, or pay my employees. So I think and he used to always say to me, you know, you can still see him shaking his finger in my face, don't forget your roots, you know, don't forget what you came from. You know, like, you know, he started with a coal shovel.
And as far as his vision and one of his main principles, keep the overhead down. We heard it at home. We heard it everywhere.
Well, to me, it's kind of what I did learn young. I mean, was to give back, to be involved with things that are important to us, and I've certainly tried to carry that on. I've really tried to empower our team members and our employees to do that as well, and it makes this a great community to live in. You know, I feel like we're a small part of that, but to be able to participate in a lot of the different events that we do, and to support some of the really worthwhile organizations around here, that's even more exciting to me than selling cars and running a business, is to be able to help out our community, make it a great place to live. I do feel really blessed to be able to operate the organization that we do and to work with the folks that I get to come to work with every day. And it's really neat to spend a little bit of time with my dad and my aunt to talk about that. We'll at least have dinner, I think. Right?
Yeah, you know, I feel like as great as this is for us and as thankful as we are, the most important thing is that person that pulls off Route 22 or Logan Boulevard to come in and get their needs met, whatever it is.
To all the communities of Central PA that have allowed us to serve them for 60 years now, thank you.
Thanks for the memories. I really enjoyed being a part of it, and it was a privilege.
Thank you.
Oh, I wanted to tell you another thing.
Please.
If you need any background music, I have the 1959 Ford album that Ford brought out with all the songs on it. I also have the 1957 new car introduction.
Wow.
It's just fun just to look at it. So,
Like that.
would
Yeah,
you?
gladly.
Okay. Clyde will have to get it from the car. I forgot to bring it in.